were coming into my mind when I'm hearing my three speakers in the afternoon session, and that really created very good discussion around what we are talking today. First part, I think we need to differentiate the profession and professional. As you said, people and process. I think somewhere why that discussion went into a different direction, probably we're mixing the profession and professionals. If somebody says a professional cannot grow to certain level, I think that is very independent judgment. People might have grown to such a higher levels in the hierarchy. It depends upon what all they have done in their entire career. To me, sometimes an individual, if he has spent a significant amount of time in the quality profession in the entire career, there is a very high likely chance that he will be going to higher positions. So today, when I'm discussing about topic, definitely no comment on the professionals. My comments are only on the profession. So I'm focusing on the process. The process, as the topic says, future of quality. And I think all the speakers were unanimous in making a statement that this profession has to change with the time. And it has changed with the time. I think all of us agree what was being done 20 years ago, what was being done 10 years ago, what was being 5 years ago, it's all evolving. There were few professionals who might have adopted different approaches to deliver activities in this function. So again, I'm talking about the quality as a profession, and here the way I see, when the question came that this is the topic of this conference, I was very excited to share some of my thoughts, some of the practices, and definitely my previous speaker from HDFC Bank has shared so many slides. So after that benchmark, definitely I'll be very, very low. So I think keep setting that expectations right. I would like to make this more interactive. I'm just going to share some of the thoughts which I have with respect to the future of quality. So the topic which I have kept is excellence in customer experience, the quality way forward. Now, one more statement I would like to make. Whenever you feel the need for asking a question, please ask. It has to be all driven by your experience. At the end of the session, each participant should feel comfortable. So there's no rules from supplier side, driven from the customer side. Whenever you are comfortable, please ask the question. You can stop me, and I'll be very glad to take that question at that point in time itself. So just a starting of the thought, I think how the quality function has evolved, how it has added new dimensions in the scope of its function to address the needs of the business. And I think somebody said very clearly the quality function has to remain relevant to the business. And how do we make this relevant to the business? In the changes, in the changing world, in the situation where every day the requirements are changing, new threats. One of my previous speakers talked about the disruption, the change in models, the technology coming day by day. I see both of them as a threat as well as an enabler. If technology is a threat, if technology is a reason for me to evolve my quality function, then I also see technology as an enabler for delivering what I'm supposed to deliver in my quality function. So I do not see any confrontation or conflict of interest. It is all complementary to each other. So basic objective, basic fundamental principle, why the function exists or why the function is required by the business is that we want to bridge the gap between the customer expectations and what we are delivering. That doesn't change, right? Agrees with me? That's a fundamental. Because your business has got many other goals associated with that. But the quality function has this primary objective that this gap must be bridged. Therefore, what we need to do here in today's world, at the end of the day, it is the customer experience which matters. And in the experience also, it is the perception which is reality. We do not have the option of saying, no, this is not the way I see it. I think some of the earlier speakers also talked about that let us deliver the way the customer thinks. If a particular bank says I'm at a particular service level, then let it not be determined by the service provider, let it be determined by the customer. So that is the point. And why I'm making that statement is a small survey, which was a global survey. Some of the highlights of that survey here. The bullet number 1, that 80% of the companies believe that they are delivering superior customer experience, while only 8% customers confirm that they received superior customer experience. And I think we got instances when somebody was saying that I'm delivering good, but the customer said, no, I don't agree. I think within this same conference hall. So this survey says there's a big gap between what we think, between what customer thinks. And that is where, and let me add some more things here, particularly in the services economy, the importance of customer experience becomes utmost critical for retaining the existing customer and acquiring new customer. And last but not the least, very, very important, in today's network customer society, where people are connected through Facebook, through WhatsApp, through Google's, so many this technology aspect which is coming up, that one dissatisfied customer can have a exponentially impact on our negative impact on our business growth. I think there have been instances where one individual did not have a good experience in a hotel, and then he tweeted and he commented, and then within hours the Zomato rating of that restaurant came down, and then everything which was going up came down. You know? So that is the scenario in which we are. So that's the challenge. Now, how is this challenge to get addressed? Is few of my thoughts here. How this one is focus on designing, delivering, and sustaining excellence in customer experience. The point here is, it is not something which you just measure at the end of the day. Because traditionally, whole of our process frameworks, etc., were talking about customer focus. But what they are saying, when everything has been delivered, measure, and then take the feedback and take corrective action. But the thought which I want to share with the distinguished delegates here is that I have to bring that design thinking for the customer experience. Can I visualize right up front what is that experience customer is going to consume, and then define my processes, and then define my tools, and then select my people, and then train my people. So that professional thing will drive that profession scope. I think you're talking about very point which you're talking is that professional will anyway adopt to the new set of guidelines, a new set of scope for the profession. So one is focusing on designing. Then how do I measure? Is the pure play CSAT surveys are adequate enough? Probably not. When I have to say that my whole profession has to now focus on customer experience, then my measurement system also has to evolve, right? It has to be, because a lot of time CSAT surveys are not something new. From ages we are doing. But what new thing we have to bring into that CSAT survey so that these are effective? The effectiveness is the word which I would like to emphasize with the distinguished members here. The third aspect which you would like to share, and which is something which you all know, which is customer needs. What is customer specifying, which is requirement, we all know, could be different from what the customer needs. When customer is asking for a certain size of a drill, he actually is asking for a hole. How do I ensure that the hole is done is what he's asking, but he never says that. He says that please deliver me for so many size of the drill. So we have to see from the customer's perspective when it comes to the needs of the customer. At the same time, as the quantum of the needs keep increasing, I need to prioritize. I need to prioritize not from my perspective, but from customer's perspective. So lead prioritization becomes another focus area for ensuring customer experience. This is an important part which I want to share here is also about the functional and emotional needs. Do you guys agree? We all are customers. I always say to learn what customer wants, we all know it. It's just a question we don't want to accept it. Because do unto others what you want them to do to you. So when we are the customer, we know what we expect from the service providers. Don't we know? Is there an element of emotion? Is there an element of emotion? Right? Sometimes the functionality may not be working, but there is something extra which you're looking for. So what I want to propose to the delegates here is there is an emotional aspect which has to be considered, and then we have to balance the functional and the emotional aspect when we are looking at the customer experience management. Absolutely, absolutely. Correct. 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 But there are some certain things, absolutely. So there are always a difference between what is a stated need, what is the implied need, what customer is able to talk, what is the standard, industry standard. But when I'm bringing an emotional aspect here, particularly in the services sector, there are scenarios, and I think all of us consume the service sometime. I log a problem, and the problem is not resolved. But I expect that at least you should have told me, which is an emotional aspect. How does it matter? And your problem is not resolved. But no, why did he not tell me? There's this element of emotion here. No, why don't tell him? Why don't tell me? You just told me. So this is the aspect. Now this is just one dimension I'm talking about. But when I do a design approach to experience, then I may find some other aspects of emotions. That's the point I'm trying to bring about. Because that plays sometimes very important dimension that functionality people forget, and they only talk about the emotional aspect of it, and your experience goes for a toss. Agree with me? Okay. Then all said and done, every customer is different. And of course, this argument is given by the business fraternity. To when we want to implement any process or quality, they say, "Boss, it will not work because mine is different, my project is different, my customer is different." The fact is true. No two individuals are same. So customers are different. Therefore, when I talk of experience management, I have to get into some sort of a customer profile. How we do that? We are doing something. I can share some of the practices, but again, as I said, my discussion and my sharing is of my thoughts, and I expect each one of us to work in this area and take our domain of quality to that level. The second last point is closed loop. See, we write a lot of processes, and they are open-ended somewhere, and specifically when the process is related to customer, there is a very likelihood of it getting open-ended. Feedback will come from customer to some department, and it will just move around to certain department, but it will not reach back. Escalation will come back, maybe for a few days, there will be a lot of hulla bulla around it. Maybe as gentleman he shared that very good escalation desk is there, and maybe we are closing it. I appreciate that, but again, the real closed looping and the rate at which the closed looping should be done, I think we lack, and there is an opportunity to improve there. Because when the customer is unhappy within 24 hours or at most 48 hours, if he does not get a response, that means now you have lost it. In today's world, when the competition is just ready to grab your customer, he's just waiting for that moment, and then at that time he hits the and the customer is gone. So the issue of retaining the customer as well as acquiring a new customer becomes very important. And this dissatisfied customer can lead to a lot of other new customers not to come to us. Last but not the least, experience to me is like when we talk about a security journey. I may put hundreds of locks, but one lock is not properly put, and then the effort of 99 is gone. Experience is also something like that. Maybe you are doing fantastic good for last 12 months, but when the time of the contract renewal came, something happened, and that is the story. I'm sure we all are experiencing that, right? So no brainers here. This is the fact of the life. So So what is required is that we need to have assurance across the customer journey. And I will spend some more time on the difference between what is customer journey, the way I look at it. Now, some of the best practices which we have initiated in the last 2 years, again, not that we have achieved the ultimate in this, but yes, thought process started coming in. We started this customer experience model at HCL. So I worked for HCL for the last 4 years. So we looked at, and this also was a thought process which a lot of the people have already spoken, that there are various models. Every 2-3 years you get some new model or a combination thereof. So ISO model is somewhere in early 90s, but that was something which taught us the real way of documenting processes and systematizing activities. And then we have got CMMIs, ITIL in the infrastructure space. Then we got other methods. Then talked about lean, then agile, then all combination of agile, lean agile, lean Six Sigma lean. I think all those combinations are available. So we said, rather than getting into those mindset of which framework or a which model or a which tool, which some of my earlier speakers also said, let me see what is the ultimate objective I want to achieve and then use my tools accordingly. So here we said the most important part is service definition. Particularly in the service industry, there is a need for really understanding what we are delivering. Because what we are delivering and what customer is actually expecting from us and what we actually sold, you will find the difference. While there were gaps, even when the products brochures used to have very clear-cut specifications defined, we used to have a lot of gaps between what is actually bought by the customer and what we sold. Now, under the services scenario, that problem gets amplified. As with me, right? So what we say that defining the service is the most important aspect, and then the second point again, every service is consumed by a customer differently. So how the customer is going to experience that particular service, like in banking system, if I say you are going to profile your customers and see that particular customer will be using a set of service little differently. Okay, so similarly, airlines industry or travel industry, other industries look at that. So what is proposed here is that we have a customer experience definition, and then of course the normal PDCA we have been all talking about. In one of the conference, somebody said PDCA means please do not change anything here. Definitely that is not the meaning here. It is same plan, do, check and act. Okay, so there is no innovation on that PDCA life cycle. So it is typically design, deliver, monitor and ensure. Assure, because despite our best of the efforts, we talked about first time right, second time right. I don't want to get into those issues because there will be some situations where there will be a dip in the experience. But the problem or the expectation is how do I recover that poor experience and come back to my good experience state. And that is where the situation of that is why this box of CEX assurance. Finally, the output, which is business alignment. Customer has to be delighted, customer has to be loyal, the customer should buy more, customer should recommend, we should have more share of wallet, and customer should create less complaints, and that saves me money because I don't have to spend time to handle those escalations. At the same time, the satisfied customer will give me a lot of suggestions. We talked about co-creation. Today, unless the customer is happy with your service, he will not be willing to spend time with you. And if he is happy, he will be willing to spend time which he does not charge. And he gives a lot of fantastic ideas. He also tells what he is going to need in the future. Somebody talked about future readiness. The future readiness can come only when there is a customer participation. And the customer participation can come only when I am able to make the customer delighted. But customer delighted does not mean that I put pain on my balance sheet. See, that is what, again, somebody talked about that there are two objectives, the customer objective, business objective. The point we are saying is, there are not two objectives, and it is always beneficial to the customer. It is always win-win. It is our mindset. It is our mindset which says that quality is costly. And I have a very small point to share here. Why? That's my thought, maybe right or wrong. Why do we always think that quality is costly? To me, the answer came if I have to buy something in the market, And there are two options in front of me. I have no clue about how to judge. What is my judgment criteria for seeing what is best? More expensive. Even if it is by mistake the tags get replaced in a shop, I'm going to buy the other product where the tag price is more. That mindset that only the high priced is high quality, without really knowing what is the facts behind, to me is the reason that we are not able to believe that a good quality, excellence in quality will actually help both the customer as well as the supplier. I do not see any conflict, I don't see any contradiction. And the bottom part, I think, again, some of the speakers earlier talked, and I strongly believe in that everything has to be people participation. If, whether we say change management, whether we say bottoms up approach, which I strongly believe, it has to be participatory. Or somebody said democratic, it has to be participatory. Because if I just take a decision in the boardroom, there's no guarantee of it getting implemented, specifically now in the industry where we are working with knowledge workers. In the factory time, maybe it was possible to give certain instructions and they were still following the army-like structure. But now, with the